Hello everybody, this is Nintaku, also known as Taku Uka Nin, and this is my Dark Souls how to play Dark Souls video. So this is the noob tactics video. In essence, this is me making an attempt to make basically starting Dark Souls less painful to people who haven't played it before. So what this means is, if you watch Dark Souls videos of people playing or speedrunning, they will be dodging, flipping, and flying all over the place to avoid getting hit and blocking very little. This is because they have the experience to know when enemies are going to attack and how to avoid those attacks. However, as a noob, you don't have that information, and therefore you shouldn't be doing that. You can save yourself a lot of pain by just blocking. So the Knight is a good starting class simply because you have a 100% blocking shield, you have good armor that has poise, which is basically how poise works is that if you get hit you don't stagger if you have enough poise. Whereas if you have no poise, a fly flying into you makes you stagger. So keep that in mind. So good starting class, Knight. Give it a shot. See how you like it. Alright, so the first thing to keep in mind is that broken sword that you have is complete and utter garbage. Don't use it. You hit for like 16 damage. I think I just flat out ignore these passive guys because they aren't enemies. As you can see, we have 46 poise, and that just means we can take hits and not stagger. That's about it. Every weapon in the game does poise damage, and successive attacks can overwhelm your poise and make you stagger. As you can see, we fat roll, which is something you want to keep in mind. If you fat roll, don't roll. Is essentially the name of the game, because, and this is very much a PvE guide, by the way. Fat rolling is fine in PvE, not too fat roll, but to be in that weight category, because the enemies aren't smart enough to really attack you most of the time. Alright, so first noob players should probably walk up and be reading these and say, oh, it says get away. Holy shit, look at that monster. So what should you do? You should get away. It's very simple. And now let's just checking out your attacks. Every time you get a weapon, you should try to figure out how to swing it around, and the shields in this game are extremely important. Blocking is a huge part of this game. It is what keeps you from taking damage. As you can see, that arrow did no damage to us whatsoever. It was completely and utterly blocked, and therefore the archer ran away. I picked up an actual sword that isn't broken, and we are good to basically kill everything. As I said, every time you pick up a weapon that you can use, test it out. So, fat roll. So every attack in the game, every weapon in the game has if you press O to jump back, it has a attack that it does. If you roll, it has an attack it does. If you press normal attack, it does its own little attack. And it has heavy attacks. Those are two heavies. And I'll be killing most, if not all, of the enemies in this area, so just make sure that you understand that very few of the enemies in the game can actually hurt you if you block their attacks. Also keep in mind that there are traps in the game. If you pay attention, you can usually dodge out of the way, but they generally aren't damaging enough to flat out kill you, so don't worry about it. Skipping this guy's audio, simply because his entire purpose is to give you an Estus Flask, which is your healing ability, and the key to the door that we didn't walk up to. So, we have a hollow. So as I'm showing, you will take no damage so long as you block. And there is a special thing that you can do that is parry. And how you do parries is you wait until they attack, and then look for their fist is the easiest way to do it. And if you attack while they are parried, you can do a ton of damage. It does the most damage in the game. Parrying and then riposting, which is spelt riposte, but it's riposte. So, as you can see, we don't do a lot of damage to them. It takes 2 hits, and there was a light attack followed with a heavy attack after he had done his attack. The hollows have no poise, so every time you hit them, they will stagger. If you have no poise, every time they hit you, you will stagger. And there isn't a problem when there's only one enemy, but when there's a lot of them, obviously you can just die. So there's a backstab. How you do is you run up behind them and you stab them, you attack them in the back. And this guy, I think I was trying to show, yeah, I'm showing off kicking here. So to kick, you press forward in regular attack. And the majority of enemies, they can't take it. When you kick an enemy, it pushes them back, it stops them from attacking you or doing anything. And you can also use it to break through a guard if they have a guard. While an enemy is staggered like that, they take extra damage. So if you kick somebody and then slash them with a sword, they will take extra damage. So now you've seen all these little enemies, and the biggest problem that people run into in the game is the bosses. Because bosses have a tendency to just break everything that they come across. They will just beat your face in and stomp on your balls. Or ovaries, if you have ovaries. So, as you can see, there's a boss. This is meant to teach you a leaping attack, which does more damage. A lot more, as you can tell. And here I'm just showing off that bosses, you can pretty much, your entire purpose with a boss, the first time you fight them, should not be to kill them. Don't go into a boss fight thinking, I'm going to go in and kill that guy. Go into a boss fight and watch them. Let them try and kill you, because it's easier to defend yourself than it is to kill the boss. Some overhead attacks will go past your shield, but you can heal that easily. So we've seen that he has sweeping attack, and that he also has that other sweeping attack. And he has an overhead that he will rarely do, and that one, which he slams his hammer into the ground. As you can see, those really only his 2 attacks, and every single time he attacks, I just get knocked out of the way, do a backflip, do a barrel roll, and can get some free hits on him while he is busy recovering from his attacks. That is really the essence of Dark Souls. This is not Arkham Asylum. This is not a dungeon slasher where you run in and attack 50 enemies all at once and somehow win because all of their attack animations are really, really slow. That's completely unrealistic. I mean, sure, you're playing an undead, but that doesn't mean that we can't have a little realism in there. I mean, he's getting hit from the side but doing a backflip. But, I mean, still, the point is that your purpose in this game is to defend. You are not some invincible killing machine like Batman who can take on 50 guys by himself. You are a person who died, and you are just trying to survive and not die over and over. This boss is showing you that really your most important aspect in this game is defending yourself and not being killed. So, I mean, that is probably the most noobish tactics I can think of right there. It is, in essence, trying to defend yourself and not die. And so, here I was thinking that I would go and show you some more monsters, some more enemies. And I'm thinking, oh, you know, I can just take the shortcut that I obviously opened, right? Right? Oh, never mind. So, keep in mind that your focus in this game isn't running and killing all the enemies. You can always backtrack. You can always run away from enemies in this game unless it's a boss fight. And I mean, even in boss fights, aside from one fight in the game, which is complete bullshit, you can easily just run away from enemies. You can easily find high ground. The fight going into the depths, when you go down and fight the thieves, when you fight the first, I forget what they're called. It's a guy with like 2 dogs helping him. That's the bullshit fight in the game. And it's the fight that everybody needs help with because you have nowhere to go. It's literally, you just have to fight this guy. And right there I was wondering if Ostrava, or whatever his name is, was back. But it does not appear that he does. So right there you saw running attack. If you are confident in your ability to hit the enemy before they swing and hit you, then by all means do running attack. But this is a very slow-paced, a very meticulous game where you are not invincible. You are quite killable, and that's what people found out as they were playing this game, is that holy shit, I can die. You want to avoid flailing at enemies. Seriously. I'm gonna do another one where I do nothing but flail and flail and flail. And as you can see right there, I'm sort of showing you the effects of flailing, which is you swing, you might hit them once, but once they start blocking, every time you get blocked by an enemy, you are wide open for counterattack. And if there's more than one enemy, then when you are sitting there flailing at one of them, the rest of them are doing their attack animations, which are probably stabbing into your torso. And so here I'm showing off roll speeds. So I'm showing you fat rolling. This is with no gear on. As you can see, not only do I move faster than when I have no gear on, but I roll faster. I recover from rolls a lot faster. That's easily half the time it takes to recover from a fat roll. And so here I'm trying to get a mid-roll, and that's what a mid-roll looks like. Mid-rolls are a little safer to do. You aren't as wide open, but still, if you get invaded by somebody, don't sit there and mid-roll all over the place, because it's not safe. And so, fat roll. Okay, that takes forever to stand up. That takes forever to be able to move. Don't fat roll. If you do, you're going to die. Because the immunity frames for that fat roll are only when you are in the air. So when you are getting up from the ground, you can be hit. And since it takes forever, the enemies are probably wailing on you at that point. So again, that is the fast roll with, now I'm showing you, rolling and then turning around. So as you can see, fast roll is very fast. You need to be very light to fast roll. When you jump off a ledge, or you're falling off a ledge, you can do your normal attack and it will do a downward attack, which does a ton of damage. So keep that in mind as well. This game is about fighting people, it's about killing people. The swordplay is probably the best out of most games out there right now. But yeah, this is not Skyrim. This is Dark Souls. If you play this game like Skyrim, you will die. And with that, you must know that
only in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall be chosen. To leave the undead asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords. Lordran.